Does God have the provision to go with the permission? The question is absolutely yes. And yet there remains a question, are you willing to dig for it? I think there's something else inside of you. I think there's more inside of you. I think God created you for a purpose. I don't think you're a mistake. I don't think you're an accident. Stop shrinking back from Goliath. It's a sign that God has something else for you. God has a place for you where the blessings will flow. Often the blessing is only in that place. If you forsake that place, he said, don't leave where I put you. Because once I put you in a place, I put your provision in the place. So like Hagar, who ran away from Sarai, God said the only reason you're in a desert and your baby is crying and about to die is because you left the place of my provision. Good God. I put you here. Stay right here. The enemy is trying to woo you this way and that way. Stay right here. When I move, you move. When I move, somebody say when? When God moves, I move. I'm not going to move till God moves. When God moves, I never built a house. I stayed in a tent. I stay ready for change. I stay ready for transition. Now, this makes a lot of people uncomfortable because you don't like change. But change is inevitable. Change is inevitable. This whole text is nothing but change. The whole thing is relative to change. Now, there are three patriarchal characters from which God will establish himself in the earth. Generally, when one sets out to build, the first thing to be considered is the build. When one sets out to build, the first thing to be considered is the build. Nobody gets ready to build a house without asking how much it costs. To walk with God is expensive. If you are going to build, there will always be a bill. You don't start building and then ask about the bill, unless you're stupid. I have to have an out clause because some people do that. Let me say it about no man goeth to build without counting up the costs. So there's a correlation between building and billing. What am I trying to say? It's going to cost you something. It's always going to cost you something. You shout about the harvest, but you ignore the seed. You shout about increase, but you don't understand that in order to increase, you got to decrease. You shout about being exalted, but you resist being humble. And because you refuse to be humble, God resisteth the proud. God won't take you up because you already acted up. Excuse me for being generational, but back in our day, we called it uppity. She acting all uppity. See, we act all uppity. We act up because we want to impress people. But if you really want to go up, humble yourself. And the more you humble yourself, the more God will exalt you. The more God exalts you, you got to be careful. With success, you got to be successful, because success will make you drunk. Success will go to your head and make you start talking silly to people that the same people you meet on your way up, you're going to meet them. Now you understand here that Isaac is experiencing a blessing because he sowed a seed in that land. The Bible is careful to say in that land. Now the land that they gave him, because Isaac is a Hebrew, the land that the Philistia gave him wasn't particularly good land. And he's kind of leasing the land. He doesn't own it. But God blesses him in something that he doesn't own. All around him, the people have the best land. He has the weakest soil and the greatest harvest. Whenever the soil is weak and the harvest is abundant, that's showing you that God is with you. Because wherever God is, he'll take less and do more with it. Do y'all hear what I'm talking about? I'm talking about your daddy. You ought to be cheering your daddy on. I'm talking about your daddy. I preached a few weeks ago, you have permission. And you remember that? How many of you remember you have permission? Today we are looking at you have provision. Because it's not enough to have permission if you don't have provision. I give you permission to go to France. But if I don't give you provision and you don't have provision, permission gets you excited, but it doesn't get you to France. You're going to have some provision with your permission. But don't worry about it. God's got it covered. 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 God's got whatever you have permission for, God's got provision for. Permission and provision will always hold hands. They hang out together. They run around together. When God gives you permission, he will always provide the provision. Now, this time he has provided it in Gerar. So he says, go to Gerar, don't go to Egypt. Stay right in Gerar because I have put your provision there. They give him some raggedy soil, and in spite of his raggedy soil, he has an increased harvest. There are some people in this room that have had great harvests out of bad soil. Oh, no, wait a minute. There are some people in this room that don't look like where they came from. I'm gonna break it down. I'm gonna break it down till you get it. There are some people who came against all odds. By all rights, you shouldn't even be where you are right now. If people went back and saw where you came from, it would absolutely blow their mind. You didn't come from good soil. You didn't come from good stock. You didn't come from a good neighborhood. You didn't come from a collegiate environment. You didn't come from the best situation. Some of y'all started out with the most atrocious situations, but because God was with you. Oh, let me remind you how to praise the Lord. Now that you have harvested in spite of where you came from, don't you get here and start acting all funny like you got here by yourself. When in fact, you're the first one in your family to be a doctor. You're the first one in your family to have a degree. You're the first one in your family to break through all the barriers and all the obstacles. You're the only one out of your class not locked up in jail, not locked up in prison. You could have lost your mind. You could have had a nervous breakdown. You've been through enough stuff that you ought to be in a mental institution chewing on a piece of cotton, and yet God's got you out here functioning and moving and going around, and you worried about a car. You ought to be shouting about your mind. You ought to be shouting about your head. You ought to be shouting about your leg. You ought to be shouting about your peace. You ought to be shouting right where you are. God has a blessing for you. Does God have the provision to go with the permission? Does God have the provision to go with the provision? The question is absolutely yes. And yet there remains a question, are you willing to dig for it? Are you willing to move for it? Are you willing to sweat for it? You know God has it, but just because God has it doesn't mean it's going to fall within your convenience. There's still going to be something required of you in order to get what God has for you. Look at your neighbor and say, I know he's got it for me. I may not have it right now, but I know he's got it for me. I may not look like it right now, but I know he's got it for me. I may not even know where it is yet, but I know he's got it for me. I know he's going to bless me. I know he's going to bless me. I know he's going, because he swore he was going to bless me. He gave me an oath. He gave me a promise. I know he's going to bless me. I don't know who I'm talking to today, but I'm talking to somebody in this room. You got a covenant with God. You got a covenant with God. God bless you in bad soil. You came from bad background. You were born on the wrong side of the tracks. The odds were against you from the beginning. They didn't even like you in school. And look at God. Look what the Lord has done. Look where God has brought you from. Let's take a 30 seconds and just praise him for progress. I have learned sometimes when somebody's crying, let them cry. Don't fix everything for everybody. Don't create a false reality that makes them feel good about something they need to feel bad about. They need to feel bad about it. Because when you start getting in the way of what God has purposed for your life, then God has to send something to provoke you. Somebody holler, provoke me. Don't let me spend my whole life living beneath my purpose, living beneath my potential, living beneath what I could be, living beneath where I ought to be going. I know I'm preaching to you because deep down inside, there's a voice down inside of you that suspects that there is more that God has for you than what you are experiencing right now, or you wouldn't even be listening at me. It is that haunting, nagging suspicion that there's something else. You don't even know what it is. You don't even know how to get it. But there's a nagging suspicion that you were put here on this planet to do more than what you're doing right now. And I came to irritate you. I came to get on your nerves. I came to stir you up. I came to holler in your ear. I came to get you frustrated. Go ahead and cry. You need to cry. It's going to take some tears to break the yoke of complacency that's been hanging over your life. I don't know who I'm talking to, but if you hear this word and you know it's for you, give God 5 seconds of crazy praise. Because I think there's something else inside of you. I think there's more inside of you. I think God created you for a purpose. I don't think you're a mistake. I don't think you're an accident. I don't care what the circumstances of your birth were. I think you have been designed and created by God, and that you are to be an asset to the world. You are to change the world in some way. You are to make a difference in the world. Even if it's a little difference, you're supposed to make some kind of difference in the world. ForbesWomen.com wrote a very interesting article about complacency for women in careers. And I was reading the article and it talked about complacency will ruin your career. And it said some things I want to share with you. Though the article was written to career women, it's really genderless truth. It applies to ministry, marriage, any aspirational accomplishment that you might have in your life. All of it is true. They gave 5 warning signs of complacency, and I want to share them with you. Number 1, you are complacent when you are no longer striving to do your best. In every area. Now, if that stretches you too much, drop some areas. I'd rather have less areas and do more than more areas and do less. In the country, we used to say it like this: you can be a mile wide and an inch deep. So you spread yourself so thin that you're ineffective at everything. If you know you can only handle 3 things, only take on 3 things. Because if you're not, you're complacent when you are, number one, no longer striving to do your best. To bring the best, your best mind, your best self. To really be present where you are. Visionaries have a challenge with this because visionaries always have a tendency to live in where they're going at the expense of where you are. So when you get to where you're going, you have lost where you are. Ooh, that's good. Visionaries, I'm not talking to evil people. I'm talking to good people. Visionaries, you are so consumed with your goal and your vision and your future and what's next that you are negating, starving, underutilizing, unavailable for your now. You can't neglect now and earn next. Number 2, you're operating off of an old playbook. You must remain a lifelong learner. What was best 20 years ago is not best now. When I learned to type, we had a typewriter. Y'all don't know what I'm talking about. We didn't have a laptop. We had a typewriter. It was a manual typewriter. It made noise. You had to depress every key. If you could type 90 words a minute on an old typewriter, you ought to be doing 150 on a laptop. Because them things, you almost had to crank them and spin it to the, come on, yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. Some of you are living in a laptop world, but you've got a manual typewriter effort. I'm going to drive home that number 2. It's important. I'm not finished with it yet. You need to understand giving somebody what they used to need doesn't work. You have a tendency to not really grow. You're not doing anything to grow. It was good 20 years ago. It was enough 20 years ago. Complacency assumes that what was enough is enough. How do I fix that? Ask, seek, knock, read, get magazines, keep enhancing yourself, developing yourself. You cannot be a doctor and not take any more classes once you get your degree. I'm a doctor, I'm through with it. No, I leave them. Because they'll still be giving you liniment and stuff like that. Come on, you take some liniment for that, you'll be all right. No, liniment, do they still make liniment? You have to keep enhancing yourself, which means you have to be comfortably uncomfortable. You have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable, to be living on the edge where you got to keep assuming that I need to know more, I need to grow, I need to go further. Let me hit number 3. You aren't seeking to take advantage of new opportunities. You're not seeking to take advantage of new opportunity. I like to call this remaining in a state of growth and challenge. Just as much as you need rest and no one has to tell you to lay down, you need new challenges to keep you engaged. I shouldn't have to tell you you're tired, you need to go to bed. Nobody has to tell you to go to bed. I shouldn't have to tell you to get up in the morning. I shouldn't have to tell you that you need to keep reading, keep growing, keep learning, keep studying, keep praying, keep worshiping, keep talking to God. You can't wait till Sunday morning to have a worship. You know why it's so hard on y'all to lead people into worship? They wait for Sunday morning to worship God. There are people in this room that haven't worshiped God all week. And there you are supposed to, in 15 or 20 minutes, compensate for a life that hadn't worshiped God all week long. And you up there giving them a grade on the worship service. We came to worship. We didn't come to raise the dead. We didn't come to raise the dead. Just like you have sensitivities inside of you that let you know when you're tired or let you know when you're hungry, you need to sharpen your sensitivity to let you know when you need to learn, grow, enhance, accessorize, develop, come to the next level. Are you with me? Number 4, you aren't maintaining or building your contacts and relationships that are the currency of growth. You have no more growth than you have relationships. And I'd like to keep this like it is. Then don't grow and be complacent and take the risk of missing your destiny. You need to keep it fresh. You need to keep it fresh. You need to keep it fresh. You need to be on the cutting edge. You need to walk up on stages that challenge you, that make you nervous. Walk in the rooms where you don't know exactly what to say. You need to walk in the spaces where you have to pray and say, oh God, I'm going in here now, okay? I'm getting ready to make this presentation. If you don't go with me, Lord, I'm not gonna be able to get this done. I need your help, Lord, I need your help. Lord, I'm getting ready to do this. I'm out of my element, I'm out of my comfort zone, Lord. Oh God, scare me again, Jesus, here we go. We're walking into this door. Come on, who am I talking to? I'm talking to somebody. If all your contacts are old contacts, you don't have no contacts. Relationships are indicators, they are indicators of the currency of growth. All you have is the same old friends you had when you was drinking at the strip club. And those are the only people who you can befriend. It means you haven't changed. Hannah is trying to settle in to something that is beneath her. She has everything a woman could want. She has a well-to-do husband who loves her. She has an environment that allows her to do pretty much whatever she pleases. She's sitting good. She's doing really good. She cares. He cares about her. Everything would be fine if it wasn't for Peninnah. Peninnah comes into her life as a ministry. Write this down, the ministry of Peninnah. I want you to identify Peninnahs in your life. There are people that God sends in your life solely to get on your nerves. They are there to save you from mediocrity. They are there to provoke you to jealousy. They are there to show off that God has something more. And if you're not careful, you will acquiesce into becoming their hater rather than to allow them to become your stimulator. Either you're going to be a hater or you're going to be stimulated, but God sends Peninnah and all of her kids and all of their jelly and peanut butter stained jaws as a sign to you that what they said about you isn't true. There is more possible for you in your life. God, thank you for Peninnah. Thank you for Peninnah. Thank you for Peninnah. In the face of all the obstacles and the challenges, God, you sent Peninnah. Are you hearing what I'm saying to you? Hannah didn't realize, watch this, that her purpose was hidden behind her problem. Her problem was that she was barren. Her purpose was hidden behind her problem. Whenever God, please get this if you don't get anything else. Whenever God has a great purpose in your life, he will put a great problem in front of it. While you're writing that down, write this down. Find your giant. When you find your giant, you'll find your kingdom. There wouldn't have been a Goliath in David's life. Goliath was the greatest thing that could have ever happened to David. David would still be taking care of sheep if it wasn't for Goliath. Goliath is the gateway to the next dimension. Whenever God is getting ready to take you into a new zone, there will always be a big problem standing in its way. The big problem is a sign that as soon as you get over this, you're going to step in. Did you see that? You're going to step into, you're about to step into a brand new dimension. Stop shrinking back from Goliath. Stop shrinking back from Penina. It's a sign that God has something else for you. So cry if you want to, fuss if you want to, but when you get through crying and fussing, now it's time to fight. Now it's time to fight.